Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Monday, July the 24th, 2017. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, July the 10th, 2017. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none. Thank you.
Nor do I.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well, and the motion carries. Thank you. This evening, Board, we have 5 pages of wastewater claims in the amount of $710,094.88. The floor is open for any questions or comments.
And I have none. Thank you.
I have none either.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated July the 24th, 2017 in the amount of $710,094.88.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well, and the motion carries. Thank you. We have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. We have no new business this evening. Comments from board members?
I have none. Thank you.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:02 p.m. We will convene the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting in 5 minutes. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the second and final meeting tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, July the 24th, 2017. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, July the 10th, 2017. Floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none. Thank you.
I have none.
If there's no questions, comments, or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes dated Monday, July the 10th, 2017, as presented.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 52 pages of corporate claims in the amount of $2,619,149.15. Floor is open for any questions or comments.
I have none. Thank you.
I have none.
If there's no questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated July 24, 2017 in the amount of $2,619,149.15.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Under old unfinished business carried over from the previous meeting, we have one item, Community Paramedicine Program, MOU, with the Community Health Network. I'll defer to the fire chief. Rob?
Good evening, Mayor and Board. What you have in front of you is a community paramedicine program, a MOU, and this is from Community Hospital. Along with the MOU, you also received a business associate agreement, and that was sent off to Craig to take a look at as far as our legal aspect. This is about the community paramedicine program, and that I've spoke to you just a little bit before. And this agreement is with the community hospital. If you've watched the news, Fishers Fire Department has a community paramedicine program established with Fishers. I can tell you right now, the community paramedicine program is the future of EMS, it's the future of healthcare coming up. And what the community paramedicine program will do, it's basically researching and meeting the needs of our community. In a partnership with the hospital, we will receive patients that we will be able to go out and check on. There's released from the hospital, from Community Hospital East and South, and these are patients that live here in Beech Grove and patients that we have transported to those hospitals. You've heard the mayor speak before. A lot of this program is things that we already have in place and things that we have done previously with fall prevention, blood pressure checks, having vaccine stations where people come in and get vaccinated, our smoke detector checks. But with this program, we'll also be doing hospital follow-ups to try to decrease those return visits to the ER within the first 30 days a patient's released. We will also provide resources to the community, information if a patient's released from the hospital and they just need assistance picking up their medication from the pharmacy. We'll have those list of resources available. We're also going to partner with the Senior Citizen Center to make sure that people in our community know how to receive transportation if needed. So it's a great program. We're going to wrap it together. We have started off small. Dave Carlson, our fire inspector, he's going to start assisting with this program. He currently is employed part-time through community and has a lot of knowledge base with the community hospital systems. We have 3 paramedics interested, and once this agreement's signed, we're going to schedule them for training in August to be trained as community paramedicine providers. Community has provided us with Health Call. They have a grant available, and with this program, this will show you how dedicated community is on the program. With any patient contacts, we will go into an EMS data program called Health Call, and we're logging the information, the patient's name. We'll have resources available with their medications, and it's an excellent program. It provides data. With this program sharing, the hospital is looking at data information to be able to reimburse us for these patient contacts. This first year of this program, Health Calls will come out, train, gives us hardware, software for the program. And it's a $15,588 grant they're giving us this first year. So during this first year, we'll be able to evaluate, see where the program stands, utilize it, and then look for reimbursement in the future. Also, since I've contacted community and when we've been in these talks, John Cavanaugh from St. Francis Hospital has also contacted me and told me they're interested in starting a community paramedicine program. And once we get started and get this enacted and rolling out, it's going to be so much easier for us to pick up additional hospitals and help service our community in a wider base. The hospitals, we are affiliated with St. Francis Hospital. but our patients are transported to Community E, South, North, the Heart Hospital, St. Vincent's, Methodist, St. Francis. So it's encompassing all of our patients. As time goes on, we'll be able to reach out to all of them. So it's a very great program. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer those for you.
I just want everybody to be clear that it's kind of like a three-step process. The first step is tonight with Community Health Network, but we also want to work with our friends at Franciscan Health, and also we want to be able to benefit financially as a city from this as well. I just think that needs to be disclosed because that could be a significant source of revenue for the city of Beech Grove. And that's not the highest priority, obviously, but it's on the table, and we need to treat it as such. So this is something that actually we've done for a long time. We just never knew it. So I'll be quiet now.
I do have a question for you, Rob. So this isn't, you're not creating another head count within the department. This is actually, your staff will be part of this program?
Our staff will be part of this program, that is correct. Now we might, I'm gonna be upfront, we might incur some cost and some overtime. If we're short-staffed and we have patients we need to see, we will have overtime seeing these patients. But I think once this program gets enacted, over the next year, we'll be able to evaluate how many patients we see, how much time we'll be able to log our time this spent. It's a difficult balance because we want to be able to provide for the community, but we still can't decrease our manpower on our vehicles during the day. So it's going to be a fun line, but we're going to get through it, and I think we'll be able to provide the resources we need to commit. And then I think once we see where we can receive revenue coming in from the program, then we'll be able to work off that also.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions or comments? If not, I'll defer to Craig for legal opinion.
Rob and I talked about this last week and then before the meeting today. It's a one-year commitment, so if we want to step back after a year and reevaluate, we can do that. And then he talked about the grant.
Okay. If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the fire department entering into an MOU with Community Health Network for the purpose of a community paramedicine program.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Rob, when you sign off on that, can you provide Dan with a copy of the signature for our file?
Yes, I will. I'll make sure we have both signatures on there, and we'll give them a copy to file.
Okay.
And I had one other thing for you. It's a little good news. A friend of mine, Captain McKinney from Indianapolis, contacted me last week. They had a lot of mattresses, the memory foam mattresses, donated to Indianapolis. And he asked me if we were interested in a couple. I said, yeah. I said, of course. I said, how many can we have? He goes, well, how many do you need? I said, we need about 13 mattresses. He goes, okay. So they basically donated 13 of the new memory foam mattresses for us, which was excellent timing because we were planning to replace the mattresses at 56, next year's budget. So saved a couple $1,000s, and it was a nice gesture off them, and we greatly appreciate that.
Very nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
That concludes unfinished business from the previous meeting. Under new business, we have several items. The first is a request to close sidewalk and parking for roof repair. And I'll ask the clerk to read it into the record, please.
Dear Board, on July 25th, I'm requesting permission to close the sidewalk and a few parking spaces in front of 702 and 704 Main Street due to the completion of a roof. This is being done for safety of the citizens. My request is from 8 a.m. to noon.
Thank you. The person who submitted the letter is with us tonight, and you have a change you'd like to make? Yeah, come on up.
This is the first for me appearing in front of a town board, so I appreciate it very much, Your Honor, and board members. The change was, I didn't want to get the cart before the horse. I want to make sure everything was done right. We were going to do it tomorrow morning. I'd like to push it back to Wednesday afternoon, around 4 o'clock.
So you want to do it July the 26th?
Yes, sir. My supplier and delivery, the crane who's going to put the stuff up on the roof, had a scheduling conflict for tomorrow morning since we couldn't get approval of everything. So I just went ahead and pushed it back till Wednesday afternoon,
And at what time?
around 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. to
Yes.
what?
Probably about 2 hours, about 4 p.m. to 6. And it probably won't take that long. I think we have like 3 picks to the roof and that's it, and then we're out of there. And we'll put up danger tape, both ends of the sidewalk from 7th to the end of that building there. We'll danger tape around the crane. I'll be present, so we can get safety set up on the roof and make sure we don't have any pedestrian traffic through there.
I think, well, the one spot's vacant, but I think that Dee's Taps is open, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the hair place?
Yes. And I've contacted Amy Masterson with Masterson Properties, that's who owns the building. And she is supposed to inform all of her tenants as to what's getting ready to happen.
Floor's open for any questions or comments.
What kind of roof you putting on it?
We're doing a recover. We're putting a half-inch cover board down, mechanically attaching, and then fully adhered EPDM.
It's a flat roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No demo involved. It should be pretty simple.
All right. Any further questions or comments?
I have none.
Motion to close the sidewalk on Wednesday, July 26th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the purpose of putting a new roof on a building.
Yeah, loading materials.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries.
Thank you,
I'd
board.
like to add, I appreciate you coming in. I mean, this is a safety concern. You've got to make our citizens safe, so I appreciate you coming in and coming.
Ma'am, I've
forward.
been doing this 37 years, and I have, as a field foreman, I've seen a couple guys die on the roof and seen people get hurt. And that is the utmost of my concern, is the public, and, public first, and then to my fellow workers, okay? I mean, it's very important that we go home every day to our families,
Absolutely.
okay?
Thank you.
I drove all the way from Paragon. I live in Paragon, Indiana now, so I made the trip. I commute to Indianapolis every day, and it's serious, okay? That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Next up is the Indiana Department of Transportation, local public agency project coordination contract concerning the Greenway and the city of Beech Grove. Board, as you know, the city of Beech Grove received a grant. We haven't received the grant, the money, but we've received the grant for the purpose of constructing Phase 1 of the Greenway through the park system and across 9th to Emerson. It's slated for construction anytime after July 1st, 2020. This is the agreement between the NDOT and the city of Beech Grove, who is the local public agency, the LPA. So at this time, I will defer to city legal for any question an explanation, any question you may have concerning this or this agreement.
Yeah, so myself and the RDC council reviewed this because down the road there may be some RDC involvement. We didn't see anything. There was a provision in here about perhaps we could waive some liability if an NDOT employee was injured, but the mayor tells me that the only involvement they're gonna have is the inspection. So other than that, we were fine with the agreement.
I want to pass out a sheet for you to talk about the construction cost. This agreement is just for the construction of Phase 1 of the Greenway. And the commitment, the project is $2,640,000. NDOT pays 80% of the construction cost. The city of Beech Grove pays 20% of the construction cost. So NDOT will pay $2,112,000 towards the construction of the trail. The city of Beech Grove will pay $528,000 for the construction of the trail as our portion. Of our portion, $400,000 will come from Franciscan Health. And then the remaining is split 50-50 with the City of Beech Grove and the Redevelopment Commission. So by doing that, the RDC will pay $64,000 and the City of Beech Grove will pay $64,000. There are no construction costs in 2017. There's no construction cost in 2018. There's no construction cost in 2019. In 2020, with the asterisk, payable to NDOT 7 weeks before July 1st, 2020, they will send us a bill for $528,000. And this is the makeup of how it is divvied out and distributed. So this isn't for engineering or design. This is just strictly for the construction of the trail. So at the end of the day, our share will be $64,000 come due in 2020. So at this time, I will open the floor up for any questions, comments that the board members may have.
So who pays for the engineering and design fees?
We've already entered into an
Okay,
agreement
okay.
with that. We did that about over a year ago.
Okay. And this is phase 1. Is there any more phases?
We're going to apply for funding for Phase 2 this fall, but there's no guarantee that will happen. We're going to apply. And it picks up on Hornet Avenue at Emerson and takes off towards the hospital, winds around, and comes back out on Churchman.
Okay, so let's just, for parenthetical, say phase 2 doesn't happen. So we'll just have a partial greenway?
We'll have a
That'll be complete.
We'll have a
Is that correct?
2.4 mile greenway.
Okay.
And if you've driven to the park, you've already seen where they've did some surveying, and they've staked it out. So you have somewhat of an idea of where it's going to be. There'll be changes to it, but that's all right.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Dave?
In Franciscan, they've already committed to pay the 400,000, correct?
Yeah, we're going to begin the process to enter into an agreement with them.
Okay.
Same way, well, I'm going to defer to Craig on that.
Yeah, so at the next meeting, we're gonna enter into a MOU with the RDC, setting forth the payments you were just talking about. We'll pay 50%, they'll pay 50%. And then as far as Franciscan, that's coming down the road.
That's coming down the road. We're going to meet with them within the next month,
Okay. Thank you.
so.
Is the trailhead still gonna be in the park?
Yes.
Okay.
What was your question, Dan?
Is the trailhead, the beginning of the
Beginning.
trail starting in the park?
Behind Little's.
Okay. And I know that originally they was talking about it, and then something was said about probably, possibly St. Francis property.
I think there'll be one on there at St. Francis, but there's going to be one behind the Little's.
Okay.
To the board, I just think it's a good thing, and there's a group that has started meeting with Crossroad, who's the engineer on the project. There's representation of the council. I don't know if the council's on it or not. It's the Redevelopment Commission, Greenscape Commission, Parks Board, all of those who have a stake in this, who need to have a say and be seated at the table. They've already had one meeting with Crossroads, and they're going to meet throughout quarterly until this goes in 2020. So, having said that, is there any other questions, Dave? Your thoughts on the Greenway?
I like it. It's, I think Greenfield has theirs out there, and it's used a lot. I go out there every other week. It's used a lot.
Okay. Craig, your recommendation, if we enter into an agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Having said that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement between Indiana Department of Transportation and the City of Beech Grove for the construction of the Phase 1 of the Greenway.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. And here's 3 forms that we have to sign. I'll just pass them all down there. The contribution really offsets. Really, it makes it, that's $64,000, and in return, you get $2 million worth of,
Yep, it's a good deal.
that's good.
You don't have to stay.
So I have Sandy go
Okay.
in, you know.
Sandy, there's 3 you have to sign, right under your printed.
Throw it at you.
Thank you. Oh.
And I'll give these back to Brad, and he can take them, have them signed, and
Okay.
for our records. I appreciate the board's vote on this issue. This is very important to the city. Move on to the next agenda item, community crossings application. We've once again applied for funding through the state of Indiana for funds to pave more roads. And This application was sent in on the 14th of July, and we should hear something within the next month or so. And what we are doing, we're requesting an additional $400,000 from the NDOT in the state of Indiana. And on page 3, I wanted to read this justification. The purpose for the project. For the past 5 years, Beech Grove has significantly increased its budget for roadway improvements throughout the city. Because the roadways were neglected for several years prior to that, there are no shortage of improvements to be made. The city has focused on improving the roadways in the worst conditions first, with the goal of being able to better maintain their entire roadway infrastructure through planning and preservation maintenance methods in the future. And it goes down, improvements generally coincide with the lowest rating, worst condition streets in the asset management plan. The city of Beech Grove typically budgets between $400,000 and $500,000 annually for road improvements. These locations are determined based on roadway conditions as documented in the asset management plan, amount of traffic, and possible economic development. And then if you go back to the first page that looks like this, this one here, Sandy, says Adelaide. Okay, these are the roads for the next set of paving that we want to do. I'll get to the letter in a minute, but the first one is Adelaide, and you see the number 1 by it. And I'll show you on the asset management plan, this road is rated as 1, which is very poor. So the engineers estimate that it'll cost $68,000 to replace that road.
Is that over there by the high school?
Yes,
I know exactly where it's at. It's horrible.
yes.
I feel bad for those residents.
No dispute. No dispute. There's like 5 houses back there, but still, it's a road.
That's right.
The next road is, the next page is 12th Avenue between Alton and Churchman. And it's, they estimate it will cost $38,000 to fix that road. That's another road that has been rated very poor. We just got through doing 12th Street north of that and the Parkway, and they had the same ratings. Those roads were in very poor condition. The next one is 21st Avenue between Cleveland and Southern. And the cost, they estimate the cost to fix this road is $131,000. This road, as with the other two, this road comes completely out and they start over. Plus, they're going to fix 3 drainage problems on that road while they've got the road out. The next road that comes, and that road was rated, I didn't have it on here, but it's rated 2. The next road is Ash from 4th to 9th. And from 6th Street to 9th, the road was rated 3. From 4th to 6th Street, the road is rated 2. So to take that road out and to fix it right, they estimate will cost $162,000. It's a bad road if you've driven on it. The next road is 6th Avenue from Churchman Avenue south to Ash. They estimate that that road will cost $93,000 to replace. They'll replace the whole road. That was rated as 2 as well. And the next project in this package is not a roadway, it's an entrance to South Grove Intermediate School. the two north drives, if you drive by there and look at it, they've dropped. And it is, that's a city right away. So they're going to have to take all of that out because there's something under the drives that has caused them to collapse. So, we're going to work on that, and they estimate that will cost $46,000. So these are the first parts that are going in this the next project up. This is, at the end of the day, there's a couple things going on. One is the state is going to increase our funding for roads. We think it's going to be 20%, but it could be more. So we don't really know what that figure is. So you'd be a little conservative with the estimate and just go like we're going. But the second thing that we're looking for is this will put us 850,000. And I kind of would like to get one day to where who's ever sitting on the mayor's seat would pave like $1 million worth of roads a year. So that's where it's going down the road. It's just really hard to get there with everything else that's going on. And I think all of us know that we have roads that need attention. I was looking at it the other day, and in the past, since 2012, we've paved 75 roads in this city. That's a lot.
Yes.
But it's just, and we've got a ways to go. We have some more bad roads we need to fix. Grovewood is another bad road that needs fixed. We'll get there, it just takes time. So, and then the last one is, Dan had to submit a letter on the city's behalf to NDOT to commit to this funding of this project, which we'll do. So I appreciate the clerk's office for doing that. I wanted to get this out there because we should be hearing something sometime in August or maybe early September. And then we'll go in the spring again. This project won't happen until 2018. But I wanted to open it up. Any questions or comments?
No.
I have none, thank you.
I'd like to say, as one other benefit, is NDOT has matched this past year. If we put up 500,000, they gave us 500,000. And so that's been very beneficial too, to work with them. But just as an example, Adelaide, there was tons of streets in Beech Grove that was worse off than that we've already fixed. And we fixed them properly. We just didn't put a little covering on it. Most of them have been dug out, went down, put new subgrade in, and we've done it right where the life expectancy is going to last a lot longer. I think the first year that Dennis and I came in, our paving budget was like 220,000. It's never been below 490 since he and I went in there. And like I said, I think last year we actually got it up to $1 million with the match. So we've been working the best we can with getting extra money to do these.
And kudos to both of you.
Yeah, it's good to see good new roads.
I can remember when 9th Street was done, Churchman to Thompson. I think Mr. Wiley was the mayor then. And that was a big project. And you go down 9th Street now, and it's starting to show its wear.
Yeah.
It's not bad, I wouldn't consider it bad, but I don't know how many years it's been, but he was the mayor, I can remember.
Yeah.
Might have been the first 4 years he was mayor.
Well, and we were talking the other day about Main Street. You forget about it being done, but we had a bad rain, and we was talking about, isn't it nice not to drive down Main Street and see sandbags? So
True.
there has been a lot of improvements, whether it be infrastructure as far as sewer projects or street projects.
was 1994 because that's when they put those trees up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I planted some of those trees when I was a college kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Dad made you, didn't he?
Him and Ryan.
Good job, guys.
If there's not any other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the community crossings application.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you so much. The next order of business is pavement asset management plan for 2017 and 2018. And it's this document here, Dave. And what happened, Board, is back in 2016, for the first time, NDOT required all municipalities to have an inventory of their local roads. So we hired an engineering firm, United, and they went out and they did an assessment of every road that we have. Not alleys, just the roads. And they come up with a list. And they called it the PASER process. And there was 3 on page 3, well, actually on page 1. I'm sorry. It says Pavement Asset Management Plan 2017 update. The PASER system rates each segment on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst condition and 10 being the best, new pavement. There's 3 categories. Number 1, the first category is 1 to 3, which is poor. The second category is 4 to 5, which represents fair, and 6 to 10, which represents good condition. So in 2016, we had our first asset management plan, and we turned it into NDOT, and they approved it. It was part of the funding that we got last year for our community crossings grant. This year, they didn't have to do that, but they had to update what we did in 2016. So if you go about 5 sheets back, you'll start seeing a page that looks like this.
Yep.
If you go on the far left, you'll see the road name. And then if you go over to the middle of the page, you'll see the rating. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Then you go down and start hunting 1 to 3s. Because you take care of your worst roads, whatever they are. And then on this first page, you can go down about 3/4 of the way, you see Adelaide.
Yep.
You see the big
I did.
one there? Okay. You focus on those roads. You fix those roads, and then those roads become 8, 9, or 10. So, and that's how they rate them. See it?
Yeah.
Now, in 17, in this one, we've updated what we did last year. And we submitted it to NDOT, so we got ahead of the game with this grant funding. Now, in 2018, I'll ask the board to approve another assessment plan by United to do it again. And then in 19, we just update what we did in 18, and in 20, it gets done again. So every other year, the city should hire somebody to do their asset management plan for road paving. Make sense?
It does. And again, this is a requirement from NDOT.
This is a requirement from NDOT for funding. And if you go towards the back, you'll see a page that looks like this. Dave, you'll see a page, Dan, you'll see a page that looks like it. There you go, you got it right there. Towards the back.
Okay.
That's what we did in 2016 and 2017. As a result of 2 years of budgeting and the community crossings grant. That's a lot of roads.
It is.
So, when we'll find out in, late August, September on where we're at, if we get it or not. I suspect we'll get it. And then, in the spring, we'll go again. And then, by then, we'll know what, our LRNS budget is gonna be for, 18. We'll go from there. Any other questions on the asset management plan?
No.
And then, very interesting.
Good
Well,
stuff.
what's good about it too is our maintenance on these roads have went down since paving. I mean, you could ask Brad, he'd know more so than I, but, I know they don't have as many call outs, you know, for potholes or whatever. We
Right.
bought that one machine that, melts that stuff, but, our costs have gone way down in repairs because of doing these streets also.
So if there's not any questions, I would ask that we approve, motion to approve the City of Beech Grove Asset Management Plan for 2017.
Makes a motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. We also have this plan for sanitary sewer rehab and drainage that we work off of, but Westler does those. And then Dan can talk a little bit about the budgeting, but we're also starting to do it for sidewalks as well. So it just takes time, and there's been a lot of infrastructure work done, but we just got to keep going.
Right, one of the best ones was the Safe Sidewalks to Schools grant. When he and I talked about possibly putting money in the budget for sidewalks, we said $50,000. We didn't know if it'd go from here to the wall over there, and we turned that 50,000 into $500,000. So that's, you know, that's what we need to do more of, and hopefully that will be ongoing.
The next item under new business is the Title VI implementation plan. This is another requirement from NDOT in the state of Indiana. And it talks about implementing policies, insurances, procedures when you are given money by the federal government or by the state of Indiana to make sure that anyone who is qualified to bid is allowed to bid. I think that's the easiest way I can say it. And there are some assurances that we have to go by. This isn't something that we just dreamed up one day. All of this was in plans already in place that we borrowed. So now NDOT requires asset management plan, and then now they require Title VI documentation for any bid involving federal money. Tonight, we did the agreement for the Greenway. That's an NDOT document. Actually, Craig calls it a boilerplate document, because they're all the same.
Right.
But it talks, in that agreement is everything that's in this book. But what we have to do is, when we bid out projects and advertise projects, we'll also include this, even though it's not federal money as well. That makes sense?
Does.
To make sure everybody gets a fair shake. And we do it anyway, when we advertise. But there's a lot in this book, and I think before we get started, I'd like to defer to Craig for any comment he may have concerning this.
Yeah, so Bob Rund, one of our outside counsel, put this together, and I think it's a model of the way this should be done. It's very nicely done. He took a look at a couple of communities throughout the state. One in particular was Hammond, Indiana, who seemed to have this down pretty well. So Bob took those policies and adopted them towards our city, and like I said, I think he did a real nice job. A lot of this language was already in our contracts, like tonight, if you look at the contract, we approved the LPA, the Title VI language is always in there. But now NDOT's we have to have our own policy in place so we can qualify for funds. So that's what this is.
So what we want to, we don't have to go through the whole book, but there's 3 or 4 areas that we have to approve in this book. So the first one is the first section on page 2. A, it says policy statement. You see it, Dave?
Yeah, I don't have my book.
Okay,
That's, I forgot it.
that's all right. In the event the city distributes federally aided funds to a subrecipient, the city will include Title VI language in all written agreements and will monitor for compliance. Every penny that money NDOT gives us is federal money. It comes from the federal government. So we have to, the city's Title VI coordinator, which is Brad, is responsible for initiating and monitoring Title VI activities, preparing reports, and other responsibilities as required by the Congressional Federal Register. And that's what this policy statement says. So is there any questions or concerns about that?
No.
No.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the policy statement, subsection A of the policy statement.
Make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. And I have 3 here, Dave, that we have to sign. You just sign on any line. Dan, you can run on the bottom line.
Oh.
You can put the date and you can attest on the bottom right.
Today's the
24. Thank you. If you go, continue in the book over to page 14. It's title standard, United States Department of Transportation Title VI assurances. There's 10 assurances that we have to make sure that we abide by. We agree that each program and facility as defined will be operated in compliance with all requirements imposed. The following notifications and all solicitations for bid for work and material subject to the regulations made in conjunction with all federal aid transportation program. Appendix A and Appendix B is included. Appendix B only applies if we purchase federal land. Federal financial assistance. Then on page 14, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 that we have to abide by as well. Any questions or comments?
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the standard United States Department of Transportation Title VI assurances 1 through 10.
Make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This one, only Dan and I has to sign. Be Dan to sign it right there.
Okay.
When we did the church and sidewalk project, it was the same language. When we had to buy the little partial of land off the apartments, we had to fill out extra forms because those apartments were federally subsidized. So it all came in, had to follow all of this. In section number 2, we've already did this one. Standard U.S. Department of Transportation Title VI assurances. Dan and I has to sign this again. Same thing, Dan. And then on section 3, the Title VI non-discrimination policy is the policy that we all signed just a minute ago, so we have to do the same thing. The next part is on, it's got the red tab, number 1. It's a different policy statement, and it talks about, the city assures that no person in the United States shall, on the grounds of race, color, national origin, sex, age, disability, religion, limited English proficiency, or low income status, be unlawfully excluded from participating in, denied the benefits of, or be otherwise subjected to discrimination under any program or activity. Pursuant to the requirements of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, the city hereby gives assurance that no qualified disabled person shall solely be, by reason of his disability, be excluded from participating in, be denied the benefits of, or otherwise be subjected to unlawful discrimination, including unlawful discrimination in employment. The city's Title VI coordinator is responsible for initiating and monitoring Title VI activities, preparing reports, and other responsibilities. I'll need to ask for a motion to approve this policy statement.
I'll make some motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries, and we'll have to sign this one as well. All right, and the last one, before we do a blanket one, is in the very back, it's titled Required Notifications to Bidders on Locally Funded Contracts.
That's 6.
The City of Beech Grove, Indiana, in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, hereby notifies all bidders that it will affirmatively ensure that in any contract entered into pursuant to this advertisement, minority business enterprises will be afforded full opportunity to submit bids in response to this invitation and will not be discriminated against on the grounds of race, color, or national origin in consideration for an award. I know that the 6 years that we have been in office, that has never happened. And I don't think anybody sitting up here would allow that to happen. We've always been very open about our bids, and we've included anyone who wanted to bid a project. So nothing changes. So what we want to do with this Title VI, not only do we want to apply it when we apply for funding through the federal government and NDOT, but we also want to make sure this happens when we advertise bids for local projects. So that's what this one's for. So it's a statement that this is how we're going to conduct business. So any questions or comments? Ask for a motion to approve the required notifications to bidders on locally funded contracts.
Make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well, and the motion carries. And this is, only Dan and I has to sign this. The board doesn't have to sign this. That's a pretty nice rule, Craig.
Yep, it's the law.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the last thing, and I'm very grateful for your patience on this, is this is just a blanket one to cover everything in this book in case we've lost or missed something. And it's a motion to approve the following. It's a motion to approve the City of Beech Grove Title VI Implementation Plan and forms, language to include in contracts and property-related documents to be used for federally assisted programs and activities and use of facility structures and improvements, and non-discrimination policies, procedures, and forms to be used for locally funded programs and activities and use of facility structures and improvements, and language to include in contracts and property-related documents.
Make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. That covers this whole book. And if you guys could sign on these. Sign this. Sandy?
Isn't that supposed to be V1? Yeah. I'm just gonna change it.
Okay, Board, I thank you immensely for this. This was, it's monotonous at times, but it's much needed. There's one other item on new business that was not on here, and I'll defer to the police chief. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I have two items. These I just found out, one today, and then school starts this week. So if everybody can be aware, Beech Grove starts Thursday, the 27th. There's going to be new patterns for the high school and the kindergarten first grade. So just letting everybody know that. The second thing is National Night Out, August 1st. We're going to partner with the Eagles this year. They want to have it at their facility, and we're asking that Main Street be closed off from 7th and 8th to allow for the people that will show up and for bounce houses and things like that for the event. The National Night Out is from 5 to 8, but we're closed the road probably about 4 o'clock and move any vehicles out of the way, just to make it safer for all the participants.
Can you make sure somebody talks to the folks at Napoli's?
Yeah.
I don't
they're-
think Spalding's or the dentist over here would.
We'll make sure that Napoli's, D's Taps, and all the businesses in that block are
It's just
notified.
a common courtesy.
Right.
What was that date, Mark?
August 1st, Tuesday.
Thank you.
And I'll get with Brad and make sure we get our barricades for all the entrances to Main Street in that area closed.
All right. Any comments from board members?
No, none.
No.
Thank you.
Now I'll ask for motion to approve the chief's request to close Main Street from 7th to 8th for National Night Out.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
That concludes new business. Comments from board members?
Did you want to do memories to hold?
No, the council, did we do that last meeting?
Well, I don't know what it is.
Memories to hold, the letter
Yeah,
to
we
St.
did,
Francis.
Oh, for their walk?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought we did.
we did
that.
that last meeting.
Yeah.
I didn't recall. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just did close the 10th Street from Main to Albany, and then that little alley there off of 10th.
Okay. Okay, and now I'll make said motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:18 PM. Thank you very much. We'll see you on August 7th.